everybody. Welcome back to your weekly episode of your favorite podcast. This is Giggles. I am your host today, Christine, but of course, I won't be alone. Today, we have our first, let me start. We have our first co-host to join me today, but she is the CEO and executive producer of events. She is an alumna of CMU, UVA, University of Richmond, and Dartmouth. Her favorite hobby is fine dining and making money. She is forever a sorority girl, a lifelong student, an aviation enthusiast, and a wannabe chopped champion. Most important, Barack Obama follows her on Twitter. It's Andrea Lyons. Wow, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? Good to see you,
Christine. Great. How's your New Year going so far?
Oh my God, so good. So good.
That
Good to
is
see you.
awesome.
How about you? How's your New Year?
It's been great. It's been really fun. Only been 8 days. Really fun.
Cool.
Alrighty. And next we have Miss Jasmine Williams, my lovely other co-host.
Hi.
Welcome, Jasmine.
Hi, Christine. How are you?
Good. How are you? How's your New Year?
New Year was good. New Year was good. Can't complain too much.
That's good. Glad to hear that.
Hi, Jess.
So without further ado, let's introduce our topic of today. So I guess I already did it a little bit for Miss Andrea, but we will be talking about humble bragging. Now, if you don't know what a humble brag is, we do like to acknowledge that it can be a good thing, but if you do more of the bragging than the humble part, it can be very bad. So a humble brag is most often seen on social media sites. It's a boast which is usually disguised as a humble statement or complaint, but the actual Merriam-Webster definition for it is to make a seemingly modest, self-critical, or casual statement or reference that is meant to draw attention to one's admirable or impressive qualities or achievements. Now, this is kind of a tricky topic when it comes to especially like college kids who are still trying to like learn who they are and like what is okay to humble brag about and what is super like out of the ballpark. So just to like get the questions rolling, what is your humble brag? And we're going to start with Miss Andrea.
Humble brag. Okay. Humble brag. This is my favorite. When I started this business, our first year we made $27,000 total for the whole year. And that is like right slightly above the poverty line. It was just me at the time, but it's still slightly above the poverty line. And then in a very short time period afterward, it was 10 times that amount. So that's something that we're really grateful for.
Wow, that's
humble
awesome.
brag.
Yeah, humble brag. That was a good one. That was a very good first example. All right. Now, Jasmine, what is your humble brag?
My humble brag, I would have to say, is that I am the youngest associate producer that AP has ever had. So that's interesting.
Ooh, she said I am the youngest.
With the hair, I'm the youngest.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know. I always have the joke that I'm 35 years old. So in my mind, I'm not probably the youngest, but I mean, my government ID says otherwise.
And she's doing a great job. Look at her.
I
That's
do my
awesome.
best. I try.
Wow. Honestly, my humble brag is that I did ballet for 12 years. And most people don't ask. People don't ask, like, oh, did you do a certain hobby for a long time? But if the question ever springs up, I'll be like, you know what I did for 12 years, ballet. That was my thing.
Also, fun story, sidetrack. Jenna, new team member, super ballerina, also yours truly. I just realized that I did it for like 10 years. I just realized that I'm too short and too curvy for ballet.
That is a big move. That is such a big move.
So I just wanted to let you know. All right. What is it? Tiny Pretty Things? Is that the show on Netflix?
I think
the ballet show on Netflix? Yeah. All right. Well.
That's so funny. Yeah, it ended up being like a mystery thing too. It was like a whole suspenseful drama. But yes, going on to the next. Yeah, I like saw the trailer.
Movie?
Yes. Oh, it's like a whole series.
Oh. All right.
It looks fun though. It looks really fun. There's always a bunch of dance shows, especially on Netflix, but everyone
Shout
has
out
their
Netflix.
different genre.
Shout out Netflix. All right. Okay.
Yes. So moving on to the second question of today, just to, I guess, get a little peek into the AAP world. When a lot of the interns first started, we were told how important it is to have street creds. And again, there's a fine line between knowing what you can be proud of and what you can showcase to the world, like, hey, this is what I did, this is what I've done in this world, and being like, hey, it's all about me actually, so I'm gonna brag about it. It's we had a whole like first meeting, just meeting everybody, and we got to say our street creds, and it was really interesting because it gives you a eyesight of like, oh, this person's really really cool, but they weren't like too far into the bragging part, so that was cool. Anyways,
It is a
so
fine line between like getting to know somebody and seeing what, that some things are really kind of neat, like doing ballet for 10 years is really neat. It's an accomplishment. And you go, well, that's neat to know about Christine. And I didn't know that until just now. And then it's different between that and then like, sharing too much, I guess. I don't know.
mhm.
I
Yeah,
feel
it definitely
like we don't
takes
brag as much as we should either. Like a lot of the times, I know for myself, I don't brag as much as I should because I don't like talking about myself.
But you call it bragging. That's the thing. See, you already start with like I'm bragging versus
It's like a negative thing.
yeah, it starts as a negative.
I
Oh,
don't
is
share
that,
my accomplishments as much as I should.
there you go. I love that. That's great.
yeah.
That's a better way to say that too. I don't share my accomplishments as much as I should. Yeah. Is it because we're girls, women? Is this off topic? I could be. Who knows what happened?
It's on topic.
I don't know if I would say if it's well for me. I don't think it's because I'm a woman. I know for a lot of people. Well, I feel like it depends on the environment that I'm in. If I'm in an environment where there's a lot of males, and they're if there's a lot of males,
Peacocking. They're peacocking. Yeah. Uh-huh. Gotcha.
yeah, then I would feel like, oh my God, hearing all of their accomplishments would downsize mine. So then I'm like, I don't know if mine is like that great. But I feel like I shouldn't think about that because my accomplishments to me might not be that great, but to someone else, they're like, whoa, like I would have never thought that. But I feel like in that environment, if I'm a female or surrounded by a lot of males, I wouldn't. Let's say if I'm around other females, what I even do, I don't even know if in that environment I would do the same, only because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
It could be. It could. What about you, Christine? Like, is it? What do you do? Humble brag?
It definitely like depends on the atmosphere. If everybody's going for it, then I'll probably try to go for it. Be like, oh yeah, like me too. I did that too. But if everyone's like more, reserved and they're very picky about what they showcase to the world, then I'll probably be, I'll be like, oh yeah, I did ballet once.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that, like women, men, and then age, like demographic, right? I think there's like a stage too where you're like the bragger stage. I don't know if that's a thing, but like, when you're a teenager, I feel like you're kind of self-conscious. Well, pretty much until you're like 30. There's varying degrees of self-consciousness, maybe. And then something switches for a lot of people, not everybody, but for a lot of people, you become a little more relaxed and confident in who you are. And so you say, hey, I did these things, all right, and I deserve to I'm gonna tell people because I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That was a really good actual transition to our next question. Whoa.
I'm so good at this.
Already
You
saw it
guys,
coming.
I read the production notes for sure.
I guess
ahead
Andrea
of
saw it
time.
coming. Anyways, going along with literally what Andrea said, the next question will be, how does one not confuse confidence with arrogance? And it's super easy. There's a super, super thin line that people have to cross to come off as arrogant. Now, a lot of people, like especially people who are working on their confidence, they kind of push past that line a little too far and they come off of as arrogant. But to them, they think, oh, like I'm so confident. Like, look at me. But other people are like, oh, I'm going to stay away from that guy. It's kind of a lot. So there's definitely a fine line. So, Jasmine, how do you, I guess, confuse? No, not confuse. Do not confuse it. How do you not confuse confidence with arrogance?
When I think of the difference between confidence and arrogance, the first thing that comes to mind is tone of voice. I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of things that maybe you're saying out of confidence becomes across as arrogant is the way you say it. I feel like anything you say can be interpreted. Anything you say that is meant to be positive can be interpreted. Interpreted.
You're doing great.
Okay, can come across as negative if you say it in a negative way. So that's the only thing that comes to mind when I first hear that. But I feel like there is some things where it's like you don't have to say all that. It's like, okay, we get it. You don't like if you're going on about all the awards you won. I definitely think, say all the awards that you won. You ain't gotta say all 50 of them. If you say about 5, but not 50 or 100. But that's the only thing that comes to my mind, honestly.
I am going to say something crazy and reckless, but I think there's another word in here, and it was like on full display this past week. And we all saw it. There's another word in there called hubris, right? Which is like a Greek word that just means it's you so much confidence or so much self-pride it comes at your own destruction, right? So I feel like confidence is still cool. Arrogance not cool, but hubris is like the next level, right? It's that self-pride that comes with great destruction. So I feel like we saw that a lot of that, like even people this past week, they got arrested recently, there was a whole lot of arrogance and hubris that's like, come find me. You know where I live. Hey, man, I don't judge anybody. I just know from dealing with a lot of attorneys, you go to jail because you rat on yourself. The majority of people are in jail right now because they ratted on themselves. You keep your mouth shut. If you're going to commit crimes, you keep your mouth shut and you don't say anything and you don't answer any questions from media and you don't answer any questions. You say, I don't know. I need an attorney. Okay. That's what you say. I don't know. I don't recall. I need an attorney. And there was a lot of arrogance, I think we saw, where people thought that no harm would come to them or there were no consequences for their actions. And so that's part of that line of, I think you should be confident in your accomplishments and things that you've worked really hard for. I think you can be arrogant, which starts to assume that maybe there are no consequences for your actions, behavior, things that you do. And then there's that last line, which is hubris. So, yeah, which is where it really becomes destructive. But I agree with you. It's kind of a thin line, though, right? You want to be proud, you want to be confident, you want to do these things, but really quickly it can be arrogant too. For sure. For sure.
That's so
Wow. Also, if you're watching, you need an attorney, right? Okay. Don't ever rat on yourself. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
All
Anyways,
right. Back to you, Christine. I know. I again,
that was a great story.
I don't read
Everybody
the
have
production
an
notes.
attorney. Did you hear that?
Never rat on
Never
yourself.
rat on yourself. Get yourself an attorney, maybe. 2021, guys. New goals. Big things.
Seriously. I'm turning back to you because I don't read production notes anyway, but still, I still think that it's so important to even tell people the things you have accomplished. And I just love that, Jasmine. I love that word better than brag, right? It's my accomplishments, right? It's almost like the difference between prizes versus award, right? An award you've earned, a prize, it's like door prize, something you just get, So I love that.
That's so good. That's so
I know, right?
so good.
So good.
That's wild. I'm just curious, what are your favorite humble brags that you've heard? Or it's like, what is the most the biggest humble brag that's like stuck in your brain? It doesn't have to be like good or bad or like, wow, like that's really cool that they did that, or wow, they're really telling me this much about their life.
Really? I don't know.
Bless you.
Man, I don't know. Like I have a lot of coaches, which is cool. And the reason why they are my mentors and coaches, I have like a number of mentors, and they have said stuff to me that has been revolutionary in how much things have changed in my life for sure. Um, but one of my mentors says it, and I just think it's great. He says, I make money. I make a lot of money. Right. And that reminds me of one, Jasmine. I don't know if you remember, but you were the one that told me, one of our friends, Carol Reese, when she says, I'm in the business of keeping businesses in
Oh
business.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's in that whole like humble brag part. It's great.
It's not saying too much. It's saying like just enough so oh, she about business.
I love it. And she's a coach and that sort of thing. So that's the reason why I love that line. But I just think it's a great line all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. That is a good one. I don't know. I feel like I don't know, and this is a testament that we need to humble brag more. Like we need to humble brag more, mainly because I can't think of it.
Yeah, like some people, like if I said, Jasmine, all right, tell us about your greatest achievements in 30 seconds. What would you say? Right? And then like Christine, all right,
graduated
let's
college.
try. Right. Let's try. Okay, so Christine, you all right, ready? All right, clock's on. Tell us all your best accomplishments, greatest achievements, 30 seconds, go.
I won a bike for free this summer by entering a contest, and all of my friends helped me win it. And that's the bike that I ride to work a lot of the time if it's not raining.
Okay. All right, what else? No, toxic and keep going,
I saved 2 dogs and adopted them. I mean, not me, but my parents helped me because I don't have money.
Okay, now parents get credit. Keep going, keep going, keep going. 30 seconds.
I learned how to cook this summer. It was really good.
All right, keep going. What else?
I know how to make milk tea.
All right, that is delicious. It's like so hard, and I don't know if that's women or if it's us or if it's, but like everybody who's watching, if I said to you, 30 seconds, give me all your best accomplishments, could you do it? Could you name more than 5 things? Or are we so used to like being down on ourselves or beating up on ourselves that we can't even do it? It's like, okay, 5 things. What's your accomplishment? Go. 30 seconds. And you go, and then and do you end up, what I found that I do is we end up sharing a lot of the accomplishment, which is not bad because like nobody gets there by themselves, right? But there is that element of hard work that we put into something to make it happen.
Yeah.
And there is an element of luck in a lot of this too, just grace is what I would call a whole lot of grace and a lot of mercy in it. But still, if somebody just says that to you, could you do it? Or are you going to spend time like tearing yourself down while you're giving yourself compliments? Like, what does that look like? So anyway, that's everybody's challenge who's watching. See if you could do it. I'll time you. 30 seconds. Wait, I'm on time. Ready? All right. You keep talking. I'm going to say when 30 seconds is up. All right. Keep talking, Christine. All right. Ready? Anybody who's watching, here's the goal for all of you. We see the numbers growing.
Wow.
So for all of you watching, here's the goal. The goal is in 30 seconds, and I'm going to count it down. 30 seconds. Think of all the things that you have accomplished that you are proud of and you did well. All right. 30 seconds. Hit it. Go. All right, Christine, you got it.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's instilled in our brains, even like from a young age, to just pay attention to the world around us rather than paying attention to yourself, which kind of sucks in a way. But as you grow up, you get to learn, like, you better learn to be proud of yourself and like little things,
15 seconds for those who are playing along. All right, Christine, keep talking. I'll tell them when it's time.
But yeah, it's definitely something you have to work on. It's especially if like something like this where they're like, tell me 10 things that you've done in your life that you're proud of. your whole life. You have to think of your whole entire life. And then you start sweating because you're like, you only remember what you ate this morning for breakfast.
Right. Exactly. So that was the end, 30 seconds. And it's like, you can come up with like 5, 6, 10. Tarek, I love her. I bet men have no problem.
They say everything under the sun, everything they accomplished today, yesterday, 30 days
morning.
ago.
You know, when I got up, I made the bed. Best
5
time I ever
minutes
made.
ago, I got a pin. Like,
Right. Exactly. I do think as women, we just have to get better at it and embracing these accomplishments that we have. So, all right, I'm going to get back to you, Christine. I know we're running out of time.
Oh, before Christine, you go, I do want to say it's funny that you bring that up, Andrea, because one thing that I'm doing over the next couple of days is, and I found this from a video that I saw a woman do, and she was like, I never reflected back on my accomplishments from 2020. I'm now like going into 2021. I'm like, what are my accomplishments? What are my goals? What have you for 2021? That I didn't reflect back and think of, even though there was a lot of bad things that came out of 2020. Like there are some good things and the things that I did accomplish. So even if it's not just for this activity of like thinking of your goals or your accomplishments overall for your whole entire life, think about your 2020. Like if you can't think that far, because my brain capacity, sometimes can't think that far back. I can't even think back to what I had for dinner yesterday. But if you just reflect back on 2020 and say, okay, what were some of my personal accomplishments during that time, it can better help shape your brain around that.
I think you should give yourself a goal in that too. Like I'm going to come up with 35, 40 things. I'm going to come up with 40 things that I do well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And make that the number and did well in 2020. Make that the goal, right? Because what we just realized as a group experiment is we can't do it in 30 seconds.
Okay.
So maybe if we set ourselves, maybe that's kind of the exercise. Homework for everybody. Create 40 things that you are proud of, accomplishments you've had in the last 12 months. Okay. 40 is the number. It's a good number too. Hey, sexy. It's a sexy number. 40 things. Right? I know, I sweat.
All right.
Everybody
remember your homework. Before we end today, I just want to thank my wonderful co-hosts, Andrea and Jasmine, for joining me today. We hope to see you all again next Friday. Just a reminder, we stream every Friday, 4 p.m. Thank you, Casey. And you can find us on the All About Presentation YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn page. If you can't make it, then no worries. We always have replays, and you don't want to miss us anyway. Like, look, we had a homework assignment, a growing moment. It's already the start of 2021. A lot of things to learn. So
I wish there was an emoji I could do sweat dripping down.
Sweat
a little bit.
But yes. So good to see you guys.
So good to see you. Happy Friday. Thank you all for joining in. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Besos.